I have got a problem here. If a man and a half can build a wall and a half in a day and a half, how many walls do 6 men build in 6 days? Now, what the problem is talking about is is with regards to ratio and proportion, but this has something to do with inverse and direct proportion. So when we say inverse proportion, when we say y directly, when y varies directly to x, let's say y varies directly to x, then it has a direct proportion. Whenever y increases, x increases. So in the direct proportion, if we have y varies directly with x, there exists a k coefficient, wherein k is a constant, and k belongs to z. Or let's say, I don't know about it, let's say k belongs to r, meaning real number. So that is for direct proportion. Now when we are talking about inverse proportion, we are dealing with when y is inversely proportional with x. So let's say y is inversely proportional when y increases, then x decreases. So this is the equation for the inverse proportion. So the inverse proportion, suppose we have y is equal to 1 over x, meaning y varies inversely with x. So there exists k, a constant, where k is in real number. So this is the inverse proportion. Meaning if y increases, then x decreases, and vice versa. So this is a inverse proportion. So from here, what we got here is a question. If a man and a half can build a wall and a half in a day and a half, how many walls do 6 men build in 6 days? So we are really familiar with two variable ratio and proportion, but now we have three variables. So let's say these variables, we have a man, a man, and wall, and a number of days. So what we are dealing with this is when we are going to first determine the relationship between this and this. What is the relationship between men, number of workers or number of men, with the number of walls? Of course, it is direct proportion. Why is it direct proportion? Because when a number of men increases, of course, they can build more number of walls, more walls. So what happened what is the relationship between men and days? Between men and days. Of course, when there are many men, of course there are lesser days. So this is inverse proportion. Inverse proportion. Proportion. So now, since we have here, I'll just delete this one. So delete this one. Okay. So now we got, if a man 1 1/2, let's say 1 1/2 man can build a 1 1/2 wall, and in 1 1/2 days. So I don't really want to have it in a mixed fraction. Let's say this is equal to 3 halves. 3 halves. Then this one also is 3 halves and 3 halves. So I am really concerned with the k, the constant. So since m, or the number of men, is directly proportional with number of walls, let's say m is directly proportional to the number of walls. So if we have, then we have also m is inversely proportional to with number of days. So let's say k times 1 over b. So from here, let's delete this. So from here, we are going to combine these two equations right here. Okay? So we got m is just equal to k times w over d. So we've got m, if a man and a half can build a wall and a half in a day and a half. So all the values of these variables, all we have to do is to plug them in. So we got 3 halves. 3 halves is equal to k. Then 3 halves over 3 halves. So this will cancel out. And our k is just equal to 3 halves. This is our constant. Now what happened, going back to the question, how many walls do 6 men build in 6 days? So the missing or the unknown variable here is the number of walls. So the number of walls. So we got m. We got m is equal to 6, and the number of walls, we don't really know how many walls do the 6 men can build in 6 days, and the number of days is 6. So all we have to do is to plug this into our equation, into our new equation, which is m is equal to, we have the constant k, 3 halves times w over d. So we know that the number of men is 6, just equal to 3 halves. Then we don't know the value of the w over d, the number of days, which is 6. So what I have to do is to just multiply both sides by 6. By 6 right here. Cancel this out. So we got 3 halves. W is equal to 36. Okay. Now, divide both sides 36. Okay. Divide both sides with 3 halves. 3 halves. So you got W is equal to 36 times 2 over 3. And 36 times 2 over 3. 36 times 2 over 3 is 24. So we got 24. So the number of holes is 24. 24 walls. This is our answer. So, if there are 6 men, they can build 24 walls in 6 days. So the answer for this question is letter D. Okay, letter D. Alright, thank you for watching.